Hello everybody and welcome to another episode here on the channel. Today is a very special day because I'm gonna let this dangerous creature called Fangirl come out. Okay, so life has been a little hard lately, so I feel in the need of talking about happy things. And what's best than talking about my favorite fantasy series of all time. I'm gonna pick up my top 5 favorite fantasy series. I am not gonna rank them, I'm just gonna talk about them, I'm just gonna gush about them because I need to do it. But I'm not gonna say what is the least and what is the most favorite one because I just can't. Before I start though, I wanted to say a big thank you to David's book reviews. David is an amazing person. He has been awesome to me this last month. He has been really supportive of my channel. He says he likes a lot my videos and that means a lot to me. So please check his channel. His reviews are amazing. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below so you can check him out. Quick shortcut. I just realized this video is gonna be a little bit longer than I thought, so I'm gonna put time jumps in the description, so if you're not interested in watching some of the series, you can jump into the next one. The first series that I'm gonna talk about is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I absolutely love these books. I just have The Hero of Ages here, which is book 3 in the first trilogy. My brother has The Will of Ascension, and a friend of his has The Final Empire, I think. Anyway, this is the first trilogy. There's a second trilogy that is not finished yet, and then Brandon Sanderson plans on doing a third trilogy set in this world, which is gonna be, I think, further in the future, because the second is like 300 years after the events of these books. These are his second published books after Elantris, which is a standalone, and they belong to the universe that Brandon Sanderson created for some of his books and called the Cosmere. This series is just awesome. They're set in a world, a different planet called Schedule, where the sun is red, the plants are not alive, they're brown and red and dead. Ash falls from the sky, and there's this really horrible tyrant called the Lord Ruler that has been ruling for 1,000 years. He's immortal, so people made a religion about him. Common people are called Ska, and they are really oppressed by the nobles that make feasts and dances every other day. And it's a really, there's a lot of injustice in this world. So the plot is about defeating the Dark Lord. We've all seen this kind of story before, but Brandon Sanderson does it in a really unique way. We have this really charismatic, cocky, witty, intelligent, and powerful main character. I don't think anyone who has read and enjoyed Mistborn doesn't like Kelsier, which is one of our main characters. He has a plan. He wants to rob and defeat the Lord Ruler, and for that he recruits a really cool cast of characters that I just fell in love with right away. We also discover Vin, which is an underdog. She grew up on the streets. She has a really traumatic past, and she had some powers that she doesn't quite understand until she meets Kelsier, and he recruits her for this plan because she has powers that we're gonna talk about now. The magic system in this world is called allomancy, and it's the best magic system I've ever seen in the fantasy genre. Oh my god, I love it. It revolves around metals. Each metal gives some kind of power to the user. Not everyone can use allomancy. You have to have at least a little bit of noble blood inside you. But anyway, almost everyone just can use one metal, and they are called mistings. But some of them, a few of them, can use all 8 metals, and they are called Mistborn. The magic system, allomancy, is really borderline scientific. You can read about it and figure out in the book. You read about it and it just makes sense and is freaking magic. I'm sorry, I just get like really excited about this series because I love it so much. I love the magic system, I love the world. I think it's genius. The pacing is a little slow, especially in the second and the third book, but it's worth it. The second book has some amazing characterization. Vin is, I just don't want to talk about her so much because I don't want to spoil this book for the ones that haven't read it. But I just can say I really recommend this book to everyone who wants to dive into fantasy. I think it's a really good start if you haven't read fantasy before. The second series that I'm gonna talk about is the KingKiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. I adore this series, especially the first book. The first book is my favorite book of all time because Patrick Rothfuss just writes oh so beautifully. The story follows Code, I don't know, I read it in Spanish. But he is an innkeeper, a really broken innkeeper in some village far away. And some chronist comes looking for Quoth, which he had been at some point, and he is a legend. And chronists want him to tell him his story. The real story starts with Quoth being like 12 years old. So this is like a coming of age sort of story. It's really interesting. We follow him. We see a lot of poverty here that it's depicted so well. We learn about a really sort of hard magic system, but it's mysterious at the same time. We don't really understand so much about it, and it can be kind of frustrating sometimes because I really like to understand a lot of the magic system. I am a hard magic system junkie, so that's that. This book is told in first person, and although I don't tend to like first person written stories, this just blowed my mind. The story and the characters are really interesting. I loved it, but what I love most about these books is the prose. Patrick Rothfuss writes so spectacularly, so beautifully. It's so lyrical. There's a lot of fantasy book that has like a lot of poems and songs. And sometimes, like most of the times, I don't really care about it. And I thought it would happen the same to me with this book, but it didn't. Every time Quoth played the lute, because he's a musician, I just got so immersed in that moment. Rothfuss describes the music so well that I just could literally listen to the songs. I would feel how Quoth feels while playing the lute and singing. I really recommend this book. I think it's not for everyone. There's a lot of people that hate Quoth, and I understand that he can be a prick sometimes, but anyway. There's a lot of mixed opinions about this series. There's a lot of people that love it, and there's a bunch of people that hate it, especially for the second book. I think it's good. The second book, The Wise Man's Fear, is a good book, but just meanders a lot and just opens up so many more questions that I don't know if Patrick Rothfuss is gonna be able to tie everything up in the third book. I'm just one of the people that believe that he's gonna need a fourth one. But overall, this is one of my favorite series of all time. I love it. I expect a lot of it. I love Patrick Rothfuss's writing style. Please read it. The third series that I'm gonna talk about is The Gentleman Bastards sequence by Scott Lynch. The first book is The Lies of Locke Lamora, and I don't have the physical copies because they don't have them here. And the version of The Lies of Locke Lamora here is horrible. So I just stay with my Kindle version. This book surprised me a lot because the fantasy elements of these books are not in the forefront. It's more about the characters. I'm really used to high fantasy and epic ones. So when I picked up this book, I was kind of reluctant and worried. But once I got immersed in this world, I just loved it and it blew my mind. It's about a group of orphans that are tutored by a fake priest named Father Change in the arts of thieving, false-facing, and deceiving. And they are so good at this. It's so much fun to follow these characters while they play with the nobles to rob them and everything. I just love it. These books are character driven 100%. The characters depicted in these books are so cool. Locke Lamora is just one of the best character works I've ever seen, and his friendship with John Tannen is out of the world. It has become my favorite friendship in fiction because it's represented so well. The love and devotion they have for each other is just so beautiful, so heart-wrenching, so heartwarming at the same time. They don't care about calling each other out, but they know they're gonna have each other every step of the way. The plot is also really interesting. You see this guy deceiving all people and messing up all the time because they make stupid mistakes too. Each book is really different from the other. The first book is more plot driven. The second is more like deep in characterization. Oh my god, it's so good. And the other one, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people that don't like the third book so much, but they just showed a character that I've been craving to see for the whole series, so I just loved it. It actually takes a while to get on board with Scott Lynch's writing. It's slow, but once you get invested in it, you just flow through the book. Like, the world building is really different as well from other fantasy worlds I've seen. This is a really constrained one. It takes place in just one city, but it's really well built. The city is like a Renaissance version of Venice. There's a lot of river. The districts are kind of islands, and it's just really cool. It's so immersive. Lynch calls out your senses, the smell, the sight, how you listen to things, and it's a super dangerous place, and you're reminded of it every step of the way. I would not like to go to Camor, not ever. The stakes are so high, the dangers are so real. You fear for your characters. It's not like, oh, they're just gonna get away with it, I know that. No, these characters are in real danger all the time, and you fear for them because you just fall in love with the characters. At least I did. So I rooted for them, so I fear for them all the time because so many dangerous things happen and it's brutal. On the other hand, I laughed out loud so much. There's not so many books that makes me laugh from my gut, and this one did. It has the best comebacks, it has the best witty sentences I've ever seen, it has the best cursing I've ever seen. There's a lot of people that hate it because of the swearing. They swear a lot, and I get it. I just loved it. Please read these books. I highly recommend it. I am sorry, this is not really a structured explanation. I'm just gushing about it because I feel like it. The fourth series that I'm gonna talk about is Harry Potter. They're not in order, and I'm just gonna leave them here because I'm going to die. I'm not gonna bore you talking so long about these books because I do that enough in a lot of videos. I'm actually making reviews for each of the books, but I'm just gonna say, if you're a magic junkie, the wizarding world, it's just full of whimsy, full of wonder to its very core. I'm not gonna talk about the plot because almost everyone has watched the movies at least once. There's people that has asked me if they, being adults, would enjoy the series while reading it right now, and I say absolutely Yes, I grew up with Harry. I picked up the Philosopher's Stone the first time when I was 8, and I loved it right away. It was the first book that I picked up on my own, and I'm super glad I did. But as an adult, I think you will enjoy it as much, maybe in a different way. I have another approach to the books because of my nostalgia, but I think you can definitely enjoy it and fall in love with it as much as I did. This is not a high fantasy, it's set on Earth. The magic system is soft. We don't know like many boundaries to this magic outside like the classic ones, which is like you cannot really resurrect someone or you cannot make someone love you. But although I love hard magic systems, I think this one fits this world so well because it leaves you just with this sense of wonder. I don't know, I could gush about this series for hours or days. You could ask my friends how much I can talk about Harry Potter. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the next one because if not, I'm gonna just get stuck here. I'm gonna clarify that I'm just talking about book 1 to 7. I'm not adding this book. Not at all. This is trash. And the last one is The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. These are big books. If Brandon Sanderson surprised me with the Mistborn Trilogy, this just blew my mind. This is Sanderson at his best. This is his baby. This is a decalogy. We're already on book 4. It was released in November of last year. And I am finishing it. I just have 100 pages left and I'm just, oh my God, this book is so good. How can I summarize my love for these books? This series is a beautiful package for me. I love everything about this series. I love the world building. Roshar is such a unique and immersive world. It's not like anything I've ever read. It doesn't assemble to medieval times. It doesn't assemble to Western Europe. This world is huge and so original. I just love it. The magic system is amazing. It's based on light that you breathe and gain some powers. There are different, like 10 different kind of powers. It's hard to talk about it without spoiling everything, but I'm gonna do my best. The characters are, oh my God, I love them. There's a lot of characters, but are like some 3 main characters we follow through the books. The complexity of these characters just makes Brandon Sanderson's world even better. He talks about mental illness a lot, and his depiction of it, it's just spectacular. I don't think I've come across with someone that writes mental illness so well, at least in the fantasy genre. The plot is awesome. It changes all the time. Brandon Sanderson has a capacity of foreshadowing and making plot twists so great and so surprising. It's commonly known as a Sanderland when like the last part of the book and you get like 150 pages at least where everything unravels and hell breaks loose and you just can't stop reading. Actually, I got into this Sanderland last night at 3:30 a.m. and I wasn't able to stop. I just heard the birds chirping like at 5 a.m. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I really don't want to spoil the books, so I'm just gonna leave it here. These are a big commitment. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's the world building takes a lot of time. It's really worth it, but I understand if people don't want to read this huge beast, which is like at least 1,000 pages each book. I would not be surprised if these books would become classics for the fantasy genre really soon. I already think this is one of the best fantasy series of the decade. These books deserve all the love you can give them. And I'm gonna be talking about Rhythm of War really soon in a video because I have a lot of thoughts about it. So this was all for my favorite fantasy series of all time. I know it didn't have much of a structure, it was more like a gush video, but I just wanted to talk about how much I love this series. I would love to know which are your favorite series of all time. I would love to talk about it in the comments. Maybe you agree with me in some of them, or maybe you have another fantasy series that you want to share with me and you think I would like to read. I am super open to recommendations. And if you like the content and you want to stay tuned, give me a thumbs up, ring a bell, and click on the subscribe button. Thank you guys, and see you soon.